This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy today is a baseball icon who actually won, excuse me, 2 AL MVP awards, 96 and 98, despite the fact that his team really wasn't that great. But anyway, Juan Gonzalez, nicknamed Juan Gon for his home run powers, was an RBI machine in the 1990s. So Juan Gonzalez has married 4 times. He has a daughter who was diagnosed as becoming only one of 50 people in the world, and the first Puerto Rican to have been diagnosed with Sebastian syndrome, a blood clotting disorder. So anyway, everything. So anyway, Juan Gonzalez was signed as an amateur free agent in Puerto Rico in 1986 by the Texas Rangers. He was in the Puerto Rico Youth League and actually got to know Bernie Williams and Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. Pretty good. So he went to the Rangers system and then the Gulf Coast League. So he became a regular starter in 1991 with the Rangers at age 21. So he came up as a center fielder. So was Sammy Sosa, even though they both really weren't center field material. Gonzalez would sell into right field, but then they frickin' traded Sammy Sosa. So Texas traded Sammy Sosa to the White Sox, who then traded him to the Cubs for George Bell. I'll talk about that later in tomorrow's birthday boy. But anyhow, yeah, it was actually one of the biggest regrets in George W. Bush's life when he owned the Texas Rangers and he traded away Sammy Sosa. Oh well. Well, Sosa did take performance-enhancing drugs, so what can you do? So anyway, in 92, he looked hot. He was the AL home run champion with 43 in 92. His batting average wasn't that bad, 260. In 93, he was the best in the AL in home runs with 46, beating Griffey Jr. by 1. So he improved his batting average to 310, which was great. He actually won the 1993 All-Star Home Run Derby and took 4th in voting. So once Texas moved from Arlington Stadium, with the Texas framed scoreboard, to the ballpark at Arlington, Gonzalez really didn't hit that well. He only got 46 home runs in 94 and 95 combined. But it was because of injuries, and he was made to be a DH. However, he got through injuries and put up a great span from 96 to 98. In 96, he had 314. He actually closely won the AL MVP, just beating A-Rod by 3 points. He was hot. Like, the guy could produce a lot of RBIs and all that. And best of all, he helped Texas get their first playoff appearance in history in 96 when they took on the New York Yankees. They did beat the Yankees in 1 game, but they lost the other 3. So Juan Gonzalez actually hit home runs in all 4 games of this series. It actually tied Jeffrey Leonard in 1987 for a homer in 4 straight postseason games, and also joined Reggie Jackson and Ken Griffey Jr. for the only player who hit 5 home runs in a single postseason series. As Juan Gonzalez did that against the 96 Yankees. Reggie Jackson did that in the 77 World Series. And Ken Griffey Jr. did that in the 95 ALDS against the Yankees. But it was huge. 96, 315 with 52 home runs and 153 RBIs. 97, his batting average dipped under 300. He ended up with 42 home runs on 131 RBIs. That was pretty good. But in 98, he shocked a lot of people by hitting 100 RBIs just before the All-Star break, becoming the first player since Hank Greenberg in 1935 to do so. He easily won the AL MVP award. It could have been Griffey Jr., but anyway, he was putting up RBIs left, right, and center. He would end up with 157 RBIs in 154 games. I think he would have hit the 160 mark easily if he played in all 162 games. So anyway, that's amazing for what he did. In 1999, he got 128 RBIs. He struggled a little bit as Texas got swept again in the LDS by the Yankees. Texas, yeah. So Gonzalez had his peak in the 90s. And then Texas decided to trade him with 1 year left in his deal to Detroit in a blockbuster deal. Going to Detroit was one Greg Saul. Detroit sent Frank Calinado, Francisco Cordero, Bill Hasselman, Gabe Kapler, Justin Thompson, and Alan Webus the other way around. He was the first two-time MVP to be traded since Dale Murphy was traded from Atlanta to Philly in 1990. I thought Dale Murphy left in free agency. Okay, well. Anyway, Detroit offered him an 8-year deal worth $140 million, and they have a new ballpark, Comerica Park. Unfortunately, it was a terrible gamble, as Detroit's new ballpark was worse than Tiger Stadium for hitting home runs. The left center field fence was 400 feet away. So, anyway. Oh, no, sorry. Gonzalez's 8-year deal, he actually refused the contract. He said that if the Tigers brought the fences in, he would probably resign as a free agent. Detroit actually then decided to ship Juan Go before the trading deadline. He almost went to the Yankees for Ricky Leday and a couple minor leaguers, but Juan Go didn't want to go to New York. And he didn't have a good production. Well, I mean, Detroit Stadium was that bad. He went to free agency and signed a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Cleveland Indians and did okay. He actually had a chance to get the RBI title, but he missed by 1 to Brett Boone. Anyway, the funny thing is Detroit actually moved the fences in beforehand, before the 2001 season anyhow. So, yeah. He had 140 RBIs, although he only played 140 games. So, yeah, his RBIs were, hot. All that. But in 2002, he decided to sign a 2-year deal with the Texas Rangers for $12 million a year. And he did pretty well for himself, coming back with his pace and all that. He would get a 294 season with 40 home runs, 118 RBIs. Well, that would be the projected stuff. He was granted free agency in 2003. And then he was signed by the Kansas City Royals. He really couldn't play for Kansas City that well. Then Cleveland signed him. Despite having a good workout regimen, he suffered another massive injury. So Juan Gonzalez tried his best to come back to baseball, but he couldn't. So basically, yeah. And Juan Gonzalez was accused of taking steroids in Jose Canseco's book. But still, he does pretty well for himself. I mean, he is 2-time AL MVP, 2-time AL home run champion, top 5 in RBIs 5 times, and became the second player to get 100 RBIs before the All-Star break. The other one was Hank Greenberg in 1935, as I said. He is tied for most home runs in a single division series with Ken Griffey Jr. And he's done pretty well for himself. So, yeah, you can't blame Juan Gonzalez. He's a pretty good RBI producer, but injuries just ruined him. So, what can I say? Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.